Good evening. Thank you for joining us for the February 11th Board of Selectmen's meeting. If everybody would rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Couple of announcements tonight. First, the Waterboro Historical Society is announcing that their dance for this Saturday, February 15th, has been canceled. If you have any questions about that, you can contact Diane Holden. So the dance for Saturday night has been canceled. And also a reminder, if you are a dog owner in the town of Waterboro and your dog is 6 months old or older, you are required to have a rabies certificate and your dog must be licensed. At this point, licenses are overdue, so there's a $25 late fee. And if you don't license your dog, you're subject to being summoned to court and having to pay a fine. So make sure you get your dogs licensed. Any additions or deletions to the agenda? Okay. We have no appointments. Anybody into hearing a delegation like to speak? Correspondence, we have the treasurer's reports, Representative Libby's newsletter, Senator Tuttle's newsletter, and the assessor agent's February calendar. Reports and staff initiatives. First up is RSU 57. School board members.
You can stand there.
Fight over who's going to go first.
I'm doing mine and Heather's. Again, I sit on budget and negotiations, and we've just started building the FY15 budget. Funding from the state is expected to be similar to what it was last year. The board will be asked to review a proposal to update the fields, track, and stadium area to accommodate several sports, which I know that you guys are all aware of that. The proposal has yet to be presented to the budget committee and will eventually require a vote from the community. Obviously, I think we have to bond that out. The board is still negotiating with the teachers. We had our fact finding and we are just waiting for the report back from the people who ran that. I did hear that I think it's here. It just hasn't been given to us to go over. The superintendent has it. And the superintendent just said that he wanted people to know that he's still continuing meeting with all the selectmen of all the 6 towns, and the next meeting is in March, the 18th in Alfred. So those are my 2 committees. Curriculum, Heather said the proficiency-based diploma is what we're gearing towards now. So the curriculum is now looking at that because the current 8th graders right now will need a proficiency-based diploma. So all of this needs to be in place by September. We need to have something in place with that. So the superintendent, Dr. Davis, has set up a curriculum cabinet to look at that and what the impact to the district's going to be and what will need to be done going forward with that. And they will make the recommendation to the curriculum committee. And the other one she sits on is transportation. The inspections are currently going on now with the buses. They had to pull 1 bus off. It did not pass inspection. And 1 other bus needed to go into engine work. There's something wrong with one of the engine. They need to work on that. And there's an issue this year because of the cold that the diesel's gelling. So they're putting a K1 mix in currently right now, and they're getting an additional additive to put in it to try to make it so it doesn't affect more of the busing stuff. And that's all she had for her 2 committees. So do we want questions or wait for Lisa, or how do you want to do it?
Let's hear Lisa.
Let's hear Lisa.
I currently still sit on policy and PR, technology, and dropout. Policy continues the manual review. We have had a couple of policies come before us requested by members of the public that they'd like us to review out of natural order of that rotation. And we have gone over those. There has been some concern about the use of the buildings policy, and we've had some requests to make adjustments to that. However, we do continue to have concerns about how the buildings are left when people are using them, and the fact that copies of keys are being made and should not be. So we continue to address that. And with the PR tech and dropout. We're getting information from the state. When I attended school board conference back in the fall, I had the opportunity to meet with a lady about the graduation rate, and some confusion because I think I had maybe reported before that there are issues with that, and how if a student graduates early, they're considered a dropout. If a student needs 5 years to go, they're considered a dropout. And with the standards-based curriculum that the state is putting into place, I had concerns about that because that's geared for kids to move at their own pace. And so we're in the process of getting a lot more information about that and pulling that together to make sure that we are reporting our dropout rate correctly. And the technology portion of it, we will continue to meet with the technology director and see where we may have some issues in the technology realm. But right now, every student at the high school is one-to-one with a computer. So we've had maybe a couple of issues here and there with the broadband. I'm horrible with, I don't know why I'm on technology. I'm horrible with it. You know, I barely can run my own car, but with the bandwidth, there we go, that's the word I was looking for. We had some issues with that at the very beginning, but that was because everybody had their computers and they were all so excited about it and they all wanted to use it at the same time. So that seems to have leveled out. The bandwidth issue is something that we've been dealing with, but we have to do that through MLTI at the state level, and they're not willing to expand the bandwidth at this point in time. So we're doing the best we can to separate certain areas within the district so that they're not all trying to use the same thing at the same time.
Any questions?
Yeah. This
I'm soon for you.
I know.
this proposed sports complex. Does the budget committee, does your budget committee have to, I won't say endorse that, but at least move that forward for it to go to a referendum?
Yes.
So if the budget committee, RSU Board of Directors Budget Committee or Finance Committee says that they're not going to move it forward, is there a recourse for those folks?
They have an option of going in front of the board still. They would have to.
But it's got to be an endorsement by the board.
It has to be endorsed by the board. It can't go to bond unless the board endorses that project. So the ad hoc committee has not even brought it to the budget committee yet. They've done the forums, the public forums and everything, but they have not presented it officially to the budget committee yet, which I think is coming soon as part of the budget
kind of
process.
backwards.
Well, they wanted to get the take. I think what their purpose was to see if it would be worth the effort. And they have had huge amounts. I know the selectmen aren't, but people in general think it's the greatest thing in the world.
Oh, naturally.
So I don't know that they're putting it all together with their cost and what it's going to cost them, but
I would just think that if, from a strategic overview, that they would go to the board first and say, when do you believe that this could fit into the mix, rather than just saying it's only going to cost you $8 a week or something of that nature for 99% of you that'll never use it. So I think as that starts to build, you probably will see more and more.
oh, I would, yeah.
But I'm
I
just
went to
curious
both
as
of
to the
them.
process. I know what the process would be, you know, like the library referendum here.
Right.
I mean, all they had to do was to present us with a signed petition, and it would have had to have gone to referendum. But I don't know if that's the case with the...
No, they come to the actual budget committee, and then we have to present that to the board. And if we choose not to, they still have that option, as any other person does, to address the board as a whole, to present it to the board. And then it's ultimately the board's decision. We can't do anything unless we get a full majority vote from the board.
Yeah, because at
move
this
that
point, I would
forward.
guess that they're just preaching to the choir.
Yeah,
Right.
right now they are, yeah.
One of the goals of the town and 2020 committee is to improve the communications of all areas in our community. And a big part of that is SAD 57. What are they doing with the TV channel that they have available. Are they publicizing a lot of these meetings, or just the school board meeting, or none?
We don't do public access anymore. We don't record our board meetings because it was an expense that we felt we could cut and it would not hurt the students. And at that point in time, we were very cognizant of all of the cuts that we made and tried to not impact the students. And also only Waterboro, part of Limerick, and maybe Alfred were the only ones that could receive it on public access. So the expense that we were paying out, the entire district was not benefiting from that. There has been talk, I know that they do run meetings on the district website, so there are some things that can be obtained from the district website, not the board meeting and at all. But some things are put on there, and they also, the website is filled and updated with things like the ad hoc committee, the questions and answers, anything that's recorded they can put on the district's website. But we no longer do the public access.
And they don't feel that's important for the people to have that opportunity to?
They feel it's very important, but like I said, the entire district was not receiving it. Waterboro, and I'm pretty sure it was only part of Limerick could pick it up, and then Alfred could pick it up. Shapley, Newfield, Lyman, they weren't able to get it at all because of the cable companies. It didn't mesh with the public access TV channel, and so only a portion of the district was getting it, and it was about $10,000 a year for us to videotape and then have the meetings put on public access, and we felt that money was better spent elsewhere.
I guess there'd be some disagreement with that 10,000 versus 36 million, or whatever it is the district costs, but I guess I would like you to go back and speak to the superintendent and the school board and ask him to revisit that.
And I sit on the budget committee, so that's
and I'm on the PR committee, so it'd go through
I
PR and then go to budget, and so,
Yeah, I would think that even though those other municipalities might have a different cable provider, which I find it a little bit hard to understand, because I think everything is mostly Time Warner, right? But if it's Comcast or whatever, we still got to believe that they have a public access channel for that municipality, because they're all franchised.
Yeah, I would
Every municipality has to have a franchise.
That was a couple of years that we dropped that, and it was at the point that it's because the town said they couldn't get the access to it.
But I think if you put
it hasn't been addressed since, but we can.
If you put it into perspective, if you get Alfred, Waterboro, and part of Limerick, you probably have 50% of the
Holders that vote.
of the population that is affected, right? I mean, you get 33, 34, or whatever it is now in Waterboro, that's, the number of kids and what Waterboro's share of that.
Portion of that.
well, I don't think either one of us has an issue
No.
with bringing
No.
that back up to the board.
No,
So,
I don't have an issue at all. I think we need to get that communication out there, and it's very difficult.
I thought we had this discussion about a year and a half ago, something like that, and we talked about streaming video,
Right.
which would be accessible right through the computer, and that doesn't cost anything except you hit the button on the camera, and the rest of it takes care of itself through the internet.
I don't know why that was dropped.
I think there were issues that Bob Stackpole had raised, and again, I may be on the tech committee, but I'm probably the least technological person on that committee, and so it's, some of the things that are said, despite my height, go right over my head, but that's certainly something that, neither one of us have a problem bringing that back up.
Well, I would think it'd go right hand in hand with the PR.
Well, that's what I say, I bring it up PR, she'd take it through budget, so between the two of us, it definitely will be brought up.
Gary?
First of all, thank you for coming tonight. Is there another scheduled athletic meeting? I thought I got on the email list and I missed the last one.
There isn't currently now.
Okay.
I don't believe that the ad hoc committee has set another one. I think what they're doing is getting things together to present to the budget committee.
And do
That
you
was the
think
last that I heard.
after the budget committee, before it goes to the board, do you think it would be structured so that we would be voting on chunks and not just one whole package? I would think that would be politically very smart.
Yeah, but I think the purpose of this, in my understanding, I wasn't on the ad hoc committee, but I think that the reason why it's going through now is just because of the interest rates. I think that that's why it's been talked about. We have talked about this facility for years because it's gotten to the point, but what's happening now as the years are coming now we can't do any track people and we can't do any track meets at all. I don't believe that we'll be able to do tennis meets now because the tennis courts are just out of control. They're bad, and some of the soccer field is starting, so I think it's just deteriorating quicker. And I mean, you have a school and you can't hold any meets at your school. I don't know. So that's why they brought it up. And the interest rates were good, and we were going to take from our capital funds that we've put in the last 2 years. We're taking a portion from there. They broke it all down, where the money's coming from. But to bond, it would be good to bond now.
It would just be a shame for the things that truly need to be done to be tossed because, let's say, artificial turf just carried the day on the vote and everything was in one package.
And that may happen. Like I said, they haven't presented to the budget committee yet.
But
and we
this-
may take that presentation and say, okay, well, you know what, 6 million is just a bit much here. Can we focus on the, the
Can we break
tennis
it up
courts?
into
Can we
chunks?
do that? And it may be broken up into, like I said, they haven't come to.
Yeah, I
the
guess
budget
my
committee and had that
concern, and
discussion.
based on some of the comments that you just shared with us, that there has been some dialogue at some level. Is there are there members of the school board that are on that ad hoc committee?
There are members, one from each town.
Okay.
And they have had spoken with the business manager, and Dr. Davis have been on that committee also.
2 meetings
They-
so far, right?
Yes.
Two public.
Two public forums, but they've had a lot of meetings before that. But there's one from each of the towns, just like any of our subcommittees, and then they brought in people from town members in too, that sit on that.
Okay.
But they've had 2 public forums, but they've had many meetings before up to that point. So they've discussed, and what they did with that ad hoc committee, in my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, they separated it, like a few of them did the financial part of it, a few of them did PR, a few of them looked at, so they even separated the ad hoc committee, and they met separately besides that to get it all together. So my understanding, I think they're planning on bringing that to the budget committee soon.
Can you pull the agenda for tomorrow night off your phone?
I don't have a
Okay.
smartphone.
I don't either. Gee, surprise, I don't have one either.
Yeah.
Because I was that if there were any other ad hoc committee meetings, it would be on the agenda. So, but can look at the agenda and email you if there's another one coming up. So.
Thank you.
But I know that I think they want you on the list, so you're definitely on the list of the meetings. I really don't think they've scheduled
I
it.
got a hold of, is it Brendan?
Brendan
Brendan
Scully.
Scully. Yeah,
He said he put me on.
yeah.
John? Questions?
I'm fine.
Gordon?
Yeah. Do you deal with all policy issues at the schools, at the committee you're on?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
As
Can
long
you
as it's a policy, it has to be a policy of the district.
Okay,
Yeah.
I would assume this probably would be, but if it isn't, just, tell me. But there's been a great deal of news coverage concerning the use of alcohol by students and members of the sports teams and so forth. I think most notably was at Westbrook. I think that had that recall and stuff, and they were saying that, they really need to take a look at what the language is and that. How do you think that SAD 57 or RSU 57, the position that they're in right now, do we have something in place that addresses that issue? And is there any pitfalls in that you know of? Is it under review based on the problems that have been counted by other school administrative districts?
Well, we do have a drug and alcohol policy for the school district as a whole that handles students having alcohol in their possession, coming to school, having consumed alcohol, and I will say as a school board, we are very stringent about following that policy. If a student is brought before us in violation of that policy for any kind of expulsion hearing, the board's expulsion track record is pretty strict. We follow that policy. We've had that policy for a number of years, and we're very strict about it. We also have an alcohol policy regarding any kind of extracurricular activities. And students are asked to sign a contract about specifically substance abuse and their behaviors, both at school and away from school. And they have, contained within that is language that they can be removed and they can be kept from participating, depending on when the incident happens, they can be kept from participating for quite a lengthy period of time in any kind of extracurricular activity. It's not just sports. If the drama team goes off to the one-act performance and somebody gets, drunker than a monkey, they're going to get in trouble for it, and they're going to be prohibited from participating in other activities. So I feel our district's policy on that is very well established. It's been in place for a long time, and the 3-year review cycle for policies is so that we understand that every policy is fluid, and that we have to look at the language, we have to look at things that have changed over the course of time, and so that's why we go through this review. Every 3 years, every policy gets looked at in that manual, approximately 290 some policies, it gets looked at, every policy, every 3 years. Now, if we feel that policy needs to be updated, if we receive information from Maine School Management and their policy branch, and they send something out that they say, ooh, you need to tweak this, then we can pull a policy out of its rotation cycle and then take a look at it again. So I feel that the way that we handle our policies, I think that we're in a much better position than probably 90% of the districts in this state, because our policy manual went through a big review process a number of years ago. Maine School Management came back with all of their suggested policies, and we took it from Section A all the way through Section W, and we established our policies, put them all in place, and then we're in our second round of the 3-year review cycle. So our policies have been in place for probably a good 5-6 years, some of them longer because they were at the beginning portion of that, and they've been tried and tested. And with the athletic portion of it, while we got a little kickback initially on some of the stringent areas that we requested under athletic and extracurricular activities, then they've really gotten on board. Brendan Scully, the athletic director, is really on board. Chris Elkington, the high school principal, John Moore, and the vice principal, they're all very much on board. And, there's no tolerance whatsoever. So.
Back up here, in Westbrook, one of the things that happened was the parental pressure. So when my guess is you have students sign a contract when they get into athletics and other activities, knowingly that if they have consume alcohol or at a party where there is alcohol or whatever it says, that but do their parents have to sign it?
Yes. It too.
Okay.
Yes. Yep.
Because those are the people oftentimes that put the pressure on, get the lawyers, and
They both have to sign that before the child can play.
Yeah.
And I speak from experience, I have kids that play sports.
And there are always meetings, around the sports seasons where the athletic director meets with the potential athletes and the students that participate in the co-curricular activities, and they explain the policies and that there is no tolerance. And I do believe our district's policies are very stringent. And you get caught, you will be kicked off, and you will not be participating for a lengthy period of time. And unfortunately, we get some. Every year we get some. Just like every year, we have kids coming before us for expulsion for other things. So, but it's in place, and it's been in place for a while, and it's on very firm foundation.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I just pulled up Lisa's note with the agenda. There's no ad hoc
Okay.
committee meeting through March 12th.
Okay.
The superintendent reports out on it, evidently. It's on the agenda that he reports out on the ad hoc.
He reports every meeting,
Okay.
just, basic things. He covers the staff updates. and
I'll
things
check
like
with
that.
them though, Gary, and have someone get back to you. Like I said, I'm not even sure when they're presenting to the budget committee soon. Since we're working on the budget right now. We started last night, was the first budget meeting. We had special ed, the high school, and curriculum present to us. And we have a bunch of others tomorrow, and we have meetings every week until the budget.
Anything else?
The only other thing that I would like to add is, I'm sure that you guys probably know this, but because this is televised, I wanted to take this opportunity that I will not be running again. My term ends in June with this next election. I will have served 9 years, and I believe that it's time for me to step down and for someone else to step in. I would like to put that out there now because I know in a lot of other towns, they don't get people who run for school board. People have been elected for this position with 14 write-in votes. And I think that that is an inappropriate representation of the town. Waterboro obviously has the most students in the district, and to see this position go unfilled is a danger, because should we come to a weighted vote, the Waterboro representatives hold 2,071 votes, and that can make a huge difference in a weighted vote. So representation for the town is very important, and I believe that a school board member should not be elected with 14 write-in votes. And so this is an important job, and it's a detailed position, and I would hate to see somebody who wasn't truly interested in doing it be put in the position. It is time-consuming, and I know a previous representative, after her first meeting, came to me and said, I didn't get elected to the school board to expel 5 students in one night. And I said, nobody does, but that's part of our job. This is a good position for somebody who doesn't have students in the district, but they want to be involved, and they want to see either they're planning on having children or their children are grown. Education has changed a lot. And it is important that you understand what goes on in education so that you can make informed decisions as a voter. It's a good job for somebody who does have kids in the district, because you get to see the inner workings of how the schools are run and how the politics of the town with the school board and the state and the inner workings of all of that goes. It's not a simple process. And this, I'll tell you who isn't right for this position. Somebody who has an axe to grind with the RSU 57 school board, or a teacher within the district, or an administrator within the district. That's who should not be on the board. Because as I look around the table, and we have had them, and when I look around the table and that person begins to spout what it is that they hate about this district, or they begin to focus on a specific administrator, or go after a specific teacher or specific school, you watch the rest of the board members' eyes glaze over, and you will very quickly become known as someone who has an axe to grind, and the board will not hold any respect for you. Right now, Limerick cannot get a third member. They've gone without a third member for over a year.
It's been almost 2 years.
Yeah. Newfield struggles getting people. I hate to see that happen in this town. I have put the word out at the elementary school. I'm telling everybody I see that I'm not running again. I have no intention of running again. Do not write me in. I'm not going to do it. And so I just want people to begin to think now about it. And I have told people my phone number is on the district website, rsu57.org, left-hand side, click on school board. It'll pull it up. I'm happy to talk to anybody about the details involved in being a school board member. And I tell Mary that I still owe her a good tire slashing, because when I called her to ask her what it was like to be a school board member, I don't think I got the full story on that. It is a time-consuming job if you do it correctly. If you don't do it correctly, then don't worry about it. But if you're going to do it correctly, it takes time and it takes effort. So if anybody's going to do this, they better know what they're getting into, and I'm happy to talk to anybody who's interested in doing it. But I believe that the papers probably will become available next month. And so people need to start thinking now if they're interested in it. It's important, and I'd hate to see this town go without a board member because it jeopardizes the votes and the leverage that we have as town members. And I'd hate to see somebody get it on a few write-in votes. It's too important of a position. I thank the selectmen for their support of us since I've been on this board. And while it has not always been an easy position to hold, it has been a great learning experience, and it has been an honor to be a part of this district. When you're not running anymore, I'll just go. You rewind that tape that I said for Mary. Just insert Mary's name here.
2 years.
So.
There will be 12 years by that point, I know, for my classes.
All right. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Have you given any thought to being on another town committee? We have
Someone asked me
vacancies.
about finance, John.
Someone asked me about selectmen, so
There you go.
the answer's no.
All right, moving on, code enforcement officer, update on Lada Auto Sales and dangerous properties. Mark is somewhat under the weather, so he has gone home for the day. But we do have some information in front of us, and Gary, are you prepared to kind of go over this a bit?
Yeah, briefly, if you could grab your memo from Mark Mitchell, and I guess we'll just touch on it briefly. It's nothing to decide tonight. This is the course of action that the town attorney recommends. It's on the second page here. Mark summarized it first. Some title work that's not hideously expensive. A public hearing date would be set by the selectmen, and then declare this structure possibly an unsafe structure in the eyes of the law. And then Lada Auto Sales would have 45 days to remove the remainder of the structure. And then if no action is taken, the town could actually take it down and issue a supplemental tax bill for that expense. This can be a black hole of time. It can also be the black hole of time and an attorney, but this is the least expensive path if we choose to go this way. This same procedure could apply, and probably will apply, to some of the other 10 or 11 properties that Mark has sent letters to for buildings in town that need attention. David, are we putting something up?
I have two photographs of later Lada Auto Sales that I took this Sunday, so
Okay.
they're very recent.
Yep.
Show you.
So, we need to schedule a public hearing. Our next meeting is the 25th. Would that be too soon? I mean, I think we've all said we really want to roll on this and get this wrapped up.
If that's a given, then sure, you can schedule the public hearing whenever you want.
What's the feeling of the board?
Let's get it going.
Dennis?
I'm good with that.
I'm saying to get it going because when I looked at the 45 days, I just kind of shook my head. I mean, we've given this guy 60 days, and then 90 days, and then 30 days. Now we're going to give another 45 days. It's just...
John, are you good with it?
Yes,
All right.
indeed.
So let's hold the public hearing on the 25th.
And this will basically set the stage for other properties to follow, right? So we were kind of setting it.
This process is
The
what we have to
process.
follow, so.
Yeah.
As long as we can identify all the property owners and any lien holders before that public hearing. I think we have to have that done so that we can notice all those folks.
We get really 7 days to do that, right? They have to be noticed 7 days in advance of the public hearing?
I don't know how that statute reads. I have to read it.
Most public
I would
hearings
guess.
are 7 days, some are 14, so I'd have to research that, because I'm not familiar with that one.
Well, let's get it scheduled as soon as possible. Let's shoot for the 25th, and if for some reason that isn't gonna work, we'll do the next meeting.
Punch it to the 4th or the 11th. Right now, we
Yeah.
don't have a meeting for the 4th, but maybe.
So it'll be 11.
Yep, okay.
Preferably, we can get this wrapped up the 25th.
Unfortunately, that's not gonna come.
No pictures?
No,
It's just as ugly. It hasn't got any less ugly, right?
There's a crap load of cars and a broken down trail.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's Lada.
I think that's about it.
Okay. And then the other properties will follow the same suit.
Pretty much. I mean, you saw those pictures before. I think you're familiar with the properties that have been noticed.
Sort of a little display, but that's the, obviously, the home in the background. It's,
Well, the public hearing is only to deal with the mobile home. We can't, the cars are gonna be a different process.
there's that mobile home there. This whole back section is collapsed. You can see all the insulation and everything else.
All right, we'll get that rolling. Moving on, transfer station manager discuss vote on reduced tire disposal fee.
Okay. On the on January 27th meeting of the transfer committee, they discussed and hashed it over quite a while what to do about the tires we got down there and tires that are coming in. And what they came up with, they all voted to ask you to let us charge $1 per tire when it comes in, no more than 4 tires per trip, and they will go directly into the hopper. So it eliminates putting in the pile and hauling them back over. Rims, they want us to keep that at $5. They don't have, if they have a rim, it'll be $5, $1 for just normal tires. They did not discuss any commercial hauling in there, or they did not discuss the large trailer truck tires. We don't get too many of them anyway, but I figured it out. It's going to cost the town about 60 cents a piece to get rid of them. So out of that $1, we would probably end up with, 38, 40 cents. It would be the town's. Now, this is a recommendation that the DEP has asked us to. They're asking anybody who goes to EcoMaine or goes to one of the burners to use. It's why keep piling them up? Why not just when you take them in, just throw them into the hopper and get rid of them? all the burners seem to want to burn these. Makes the electricity faster.
Now, what is the price for a trailer truck tire or tractor tire and stuff like that?
Anywhere from $10, and them great big wide ones I think are $20.
Are we covering our cost?
Just about on those. But see, they didn't discuss those. They're talking about the major amount of tires down there are regular car tires.
Yeah, so those
Smaller.
other tires are not going to be affected as far as there's not going to be a reduction in cost?
No,
Yeah.
no. Dennis was at that meeting, and John, and that it was not brought up anything to do with the big tires.
So how many tires roughly are you seeing a week come in?
Very few, really. 10 at the most. Summertime, springtime cleanup, yes, it'll be a bunch, but
But you're gonna limit them to 4 a trip?
yes. So what we're trying to do is limit it. They're trying to limit the amount of tires that are coming in, because we've got around 4,000 or 5,000 tires down there to get rid of now. So we continue putting those in, and we'll just figure out how many we're taking in daily, and we'll just deduct those out.
So how many can you put in the hopper per load? There must be a,
EcoMaine, Kevin Roach said he would allow us to he'd like to have 75 to a load. But if the DEP started pushing to go to 100, and then if they really started pushing that we can load a container full, but then they go to EcoMaine, and then they take them up in the ash pit up there, and they'll be stored there. But they don't really want to do that at EcoMaine, because then they're going to have to turn around and load them and haul them back down and burn them. This way is working fine. The DEP is happy with what we're doing, cleanup day and everything.
so then can you supplement what's in the hopper? Like, let's say this week you get 10 tires
Yeah,
that go in. So does that mean you'll throw in another 60 or so for that
yeah, it'll
load?
be another 60 tires. 65.
You're putting 75 in now, right?
Yeah, 75.
In each container.
It averaged out since July, after the first cleanup day, it averaged out around, as of the 27th, it was 66 tires per load that we've been putting in. And the reason for that is one load on Sunday, we really don't have the room to put them in. We can't put them in. So we lose one load a week. But it averaged 66 tires per load.
I assume that it's up to the person that's bringing the tires to the transfer station, that if the tires, as you talked about rims,
Yeah.
the tires have to be rimless. Am I correct? They have to
Right.
separate the two prior to coming to the transfer station.
That's right.
Or they pay a higher fee.
Or they can pay the $5 and, we'll throw it in or take it over, put it in the pile.
What do you mean $5?
Well, they want to leave it at $5 if it has a rim on it.
Yeah.
$1 without,
So,
$5.
but it would cost us more. Are we recouping our costs if we have to separate the rims on every one of those tires?
I think we are, but it's indirect, because we're getting some of that back from EcoMaine too. So
Yeah, but we have to pay the cost of an employee to separate those out.
no, we don't separate them. They go right to the burner with the rim.
They burn the rim and everything?
Sure.
I don't see how
They reclaim the metal out of the,
Oh, they reclaim it out after, okay.
But that's gotta go on a separate load.
nope.
No, it goes right in the same way. So we're just trying, they were trying to figure out how to figure the extra weight of that rim. What's it costing us?
John?
I don't see anything on here to vote on the reduction of the tire fees.
Yeah, it's,
Is that,
Transfer, discuss, vote.
okay, I didn't see it under business. Okay, so we can, right after
yep,
he's through, we can vote on it. Okay.
There's a couple of things here. One is the public, ever since I've been involved with this for the last 10 years, has always complained about paying to get rid of tires when we already pay when we buy the tires, all right? So, we're not gonna be losing money on this as far as getting rid of the tires. And so, to me, it's a good PR thing, and it's financially sound, so I would support it.
is that a motion?
That is a motion.
Second.
Any further discussion? Gary, did you have a comment?
No, thank you.
All those in favor of reducing the cost? Okay,
Thank you.
yeah. Anything else while you're here, Clint?
Not really, no.
Sure. All right.
No, but just, and I had mentioned it previous in some communications, what we need to do is, as we move forward, is this solid waste ordinance needs to change. I'm not sure that the role of the Board of Selectmen is to determine what Clint or the new Public Works Department or the town administrator decides to charge for a tire. So I think we need to revisit.
I think a lot of the ordinances
Right.
need to be revisited, probably a lot of them.
I'd just like to put a plug in too. You're still taking returnables for heat, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So anybody out there that would like to donate their returnables, bring them down to the Quonset hut, right?
Yes. Well, bring
Or
them in.
at the JG's even.
Right at the household waste, no, bring them
No.
to the household waste compactor, and we got bags and everything, we bag them up right there. I haven't got the exact figure, but we're very close. Since November, we've turned in about $1,000.
Wow.
That's good.
And we got more down there.
So this will help people with the heating costs, so appreciate your efforts.
I'd like to put in a plug for him too while he's right here. On my drive around Sunday, besides taking pictures, I had occasion to stop down at the transfer station, and I spoke with Clint, and because they had I guess we'd have to call it an incident, for lack of a better word, where Mr. Gobio had to speak to an individual down there, and I think that given the circumstances, that was entirely appropriate. Apparently, the individual pulled up as the cars normally do, and for some reason decided that either through impatience or whatever, that he didn't want to be in that line. So he backed out of the line, because other traffic is coming. He backs out, but he didn't pull ahead. He ended up backing out and then backing right through the transfer station and then swung around, so backed around again, so now he's at the head of the line. And he was,
He's backing through the line.
and then he was taken aback that he couldn't do that, you know, and so I think that.
Well, first I had already called Bob and said the truck that just came in with a plow on it, the one that's maneuvering through the traffic, which was quite a bit of traffic too. He said he doesn't have a sticker. And then he got over there and Bob says, well, yes, he does have a sticker. He's got a handheld one, but he didn't really want to show it to him. So I said, he either shows it or don't let him down. He did show us the sticker, but he's...
Did he have an open container in the car?
He said that we were singling him out.
Oh, that's right, the profiling.
We were profiling him, and he was very upset. He was coming up here to see Gary, and he was gonna...
I haven't seen him yet, I'm sorry.
And if you're viewing it, you know, if he happens to be watching this tonight, come on in and we'll all have a meeting with you. It's fine.
Okay. Thanks, Clint. Moving on, Selectmen's reports. Gordon.
I've reported out, I guess.
All right. John?
Yeah, I'd like to report a little bit more detail on the Community Garden Committee's meeting of actually a week ago, but I got some information I'd like to pass on to everybody out there as long as my colleagues here. Last year, the gifts and services estimated that the Community Garden Committee got from this community was a little over $12,000. The potential for income by rental of garden plots is about $625 and is not realized completely because some of those plots are public. Volunteer hours exceeded 940. Food donations, the community garden donated 550 pounds of vegetables to St. Stephen's Pantry. The budget submitted to the town does not include garden expenses per se. The garden committee said that they want to stick to their word, and that is not costing the town anything for running the garden itself. So that has all been through donations. Next year, the committee will finish the shed out here. All that wood is donated wood, and the time and the nails and everything is all donated also. They're going to make, they're going to put together several more plots to increase the number of plots in the garden, and also make several of them handicap accessible. So raise them up so a person in a wheelchair can work on their garden places. The workshops that are set up right now are seasonal. There's a February 15th workshop that's open to anybody in town here, and it's starting seeds. March 15th will be composting. April 19th will be herbs and herbalism. The May 17th will be square foot gardening. And then vertical gardening in June, and July will be pest control, appropriate, because usually in July that's where you get most of them. And then August is food preservation. So all town members are available to come to these. They're on Saturday mornings from 10 to 12 on the, I believe the second Saturday in the month.
Where are they held, John?
They're going to be held here in the old town hall.
Thank you, John. Dennis?
Not much. Next round of the EcoMaine Budget Committee relative to investment strategies for EcoMaine takes place next next Thursday, just before the board meeting, so had quite an interesting session 2 weeks ago with what we're going to do with $22 million for an investment strategy. So, and it's interesting, and I don't mean this politically with any disrespect, but you know, we've got some of the more liberal cities that are members of EcoMaine, and they're the most conservative people I've ever seen when it comes to investment strategies. So it's a little bit of a dichotomy there. So anyway, that's all I've got.
David?
2020 committee met last night and had a lengthy meeting, and we're at the stage now we're trying to summarize everything, get the reports together, and it is turning out to be substantial work. Making progress, but it's a lot of work. Also, got a letter from Saco River Corridor Commission on February 19th, which is a scheduled planning board meeting. A Ms. Lamar Clanlon of NIMCO, which is a resource person for low impact development along the Saco River. So she's going to be speaking on ways for development and low impact. That's the 19th of February. Another issue is that in our town charter, it describes a town administrator and not a town manager. And until that charter is changed or addressed, we do have a town administrator, not a town manager. So that needs to be accepted and respected.
What are you referring to, David?
Well,
The way I title write things?
Okay.
Okay.
Which I think it should be addressed, Gary.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I mean, I think the duties that you're performing and other functions, it should be clarified as a town manager. And that's something we need to think about. And I don't know what you got for report, but how are we doing on the budget committee situation?
I'll talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah. Briefly.
That's all I've got.
Last night, 12-town group meeting was here at 6:30. Probably one of the shorter 12-town group meetings that I think I've ever been to. A couple things coming up. Wednesday, March 19th, we have Mike Mishu that's going to be coming into Waterboro for a community forum. And Elliot Cutler has also agreed to do a community forum, and we're looking at scheduling that one on Monday, April 28th. We've also invited Governor LePage. He has not accepted the invitation at this point, but may when he finds out that Elliot Cutler is also involved now as well.
What was the date on Mishu?
That one's going to be on Wednesday, March 19th.
Okay.
And we're looking at roughly a 6:30 start time. And it'll go for about an hour and a half. And then in mid-September, what we're hoping to do is to have a gubernatorial debate with all three candidates. We discussed LD 1762, brought that before the board a couple weeks ago when it was still an LR, and that is to preserve revenue sharing. And Gary had gotten an email about it earlier today as well, and it looks like this is possibly going to pass through the House and the Senate to preserve the $40 million that they want to take out. And there's been some conversations with the governor about this, and right now the feel is that he is not going to veto if this bill passes to preserve the funding. There's a speculation as to why he's not going to veto it, but hopefully that will, the revenue sharing, the $40 million will be preserved. And our next meeting will be in March, on March 10th. Administrators report.
Pass these out before. Thank you, Madam Chairman. Talking a little bit of old business here about the old lagoons, disposal lagoons out to the Public Works Garage. DEP paid for this site work. I had the report all ready to bring in here, but let's just say I only got one of them because it's about 1 1/4 inches thick. That's why you folks didn't get a copy. You got the, I think, 15 or 17 pages of the meat of the document without all the appendices. DEP's definitely going to want to do some more testing. They've documented that these contaminants are in the soil all the way down to bedrock, and they want to find both the horizontal and the vertical extent of this contaminant plume before they even come close to giving us a green light to possibly, if the town so decides, to put a sand salt shed right above the lagoons themselves. They still like the idea of a large building on top of those lagoons to keep the rainwater out, but certainly will be well into this year, if not next, before I think that they'll probably be done. But that's my guessing, not any timetable that they've given me. David asked a question about budget. I've prepared what I consider to be my job as a draft budget that's ready for the budget committee. Some confusion about when the budget committee was going to start reviewing that, but in my mind it's ready now. Unfortunately, we only had 2 members on the budget committee, and both of them have recently resigned, and I haven't been able to actually speak personally with either of them yet. I'd love to have them both back, but either way, we need some more budget committee members to step forward this month. If that happens, that's great. If not, we'll move forward and do what we need to do directly with myself and the selectmen. The engine of our Public Works backhoe has been rebuilt and not replaced. Mr. Foglio is not real happy with that because it was under warranty, but it was done at no charge, and we're looking to see if we need to extend the warranty coverage for that piece of equipment on that engine. Item number 4 in my report, we got just under $6,000 as a rebate from Efficiency Maine for the work that we did in this building to change nearly all the ballasts to the lights in this building. Put in some motion switches so lights will not be left on when there's no one in the room. And we'll certainly be paying attention to CMP over the next year to see all the gobs of money that we will hopefully save for spending about $25,000 in outlay. So a net 20 to the taxpayers. Some definitely interesting and a little depressing information in terms of the cost of mainstay retirement. It's been 6.5% from both the town and the employee for years, but since we're formulating our budget, budget committee and the selectmen need to know that that's going to go up to 7.8% if the retirement package has a cost of living adjustment attached to it once you retire. The employee contribution would go to 7%. There is another plan there that does not have cost of living adjustments after you retire, which would be a 4.1% employer contribution and 7% for the employee. So a distinct difference there in terms of the town contribution, and we'll talk about that as the budget process goes on. One thing I talked to Tammy Jo this afternoon, we've had a lot of vacation inquiries about December 26th. I appreciate staff trying to pigeonhole their vacation time well in advance. It's unanimous in this building that everybody's willing to take a vacation day if the Board of Selectmen is okay with Friday, December 26th, having Town Hall closed. I'm not looking for an answer from you tonight, but I just wanted to tell you that I'll pass that on for your consideration at some future date. We are going to have a customer service workshop scheduled here Monday, March 24th. You actually got the PowerPoint slides for the draft agenda. I gave that to you tonight, and please mark that up if you want something added or taken out, or some specific instance that you've seen. People have told you about what they're unhappy with going on in Town Hall here. I want to know about that so we can make that part of that day. That just got firmed up, and I don't even know if Clint has been able to talk to staff about that, but we definitely want transfer station here, probably Ruth from the library, 2 folks from rec, and everybody else in this building. Public safety meeting, I talked to Gordon about that. We've got the fire chief trying to be in 2 places at once on the 20th. There is going to be, the chief wanted me to let the public know there's going to be a wildfire tabletop exercise February 20th down at the fire station. They're using Lake Arrowhead as a specific example for, I guess, how to stop a 47 fire from happening again. I don't know exactly all the technology behind this exercise, but it's open to the public. And thank you to Tammy Jo for bringing up the LD 1762. Just wanted the public to know that right now we'll be scheduled to get about $282,000 in revenue sharing for this year. And over the since 2008, we've lost $826,000 total scattered over the last 5 years in revenue sharing that's not come to us. State statute requires 5% of all the sales tax throughout the state to be distributed to towns. The legislature has raided that fund, and it's cost the citizens of Waterboro $826,000 over those period of years, so it's pretty considerable. And the other thing, just monitoring the storm on Thursday, in my mind, will be open. So that's it from me. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Gary. Okay, moving on to new town business, discuss the next annual town report. About that time where we start talking about doing dedication of the town report, and I kind of had a little bit of a different idea on doing that this year. Typically we discuss it in public and we produce the town report, and it's handed out without much fanfare. And I think having the town report dedicated to somebody is very important. And so I don't know how the rest of the board feels or how we could go about doing this, but my thoughts were that rather than publicly deciding who we wanted to dedicate the town report to, kind of keeping it a secret, making the decision, getting the town report printed, and then presenting that first copy of the town report to the person that we're dedicating the town report to at a selectmen's meeting once we get them. I don't know if there's any interest from the board to do that, or if you want to kind of do the same way that we've always done it. A thought I wanted to throw out there for discussion.
It's more dramatic your way. I'm not sure that the person you're dedicating it to or people, there may be a reason for not wanting to have it dedicated to them. So they probably want to let them know in advance so that they know at least. Maybe. So anyway, that's possibly a downside of it.
Yep.
Some people might not like the public exposure.
Gordon?
I think John has a valid point, but I also think that it would be an honor for that individual to be having the town report dedicated to him, and I think it's good that they receive public recognition by the board and the citizens of this community for whatever it was that they're being honored for. So I guess it's something that we probably will have to have a discussion at a workshop on, so that we can brainstorm and bandy back and forth, so that we don't run into inadvertently embarrassing someone or whatever, if they happen to be the type of individual that's, like John said, is shy or not, wanting to be in the focus of the public eye.
Dennis?
I guess I have mixed emotions. I think there is some risk of. First of all, I'm not sure you can keep anything quiet in this town, and there's going to be certainly knowledge of who it's going to be dedicated to. We broke with tradition a few years ago when we actually dedicated it to someone that was alive, right, and dedicated it to Willie. That was the first, my knowledge, right? It's always been dedicated to someone who's no longer with us. So that was a little break with tradition. So I think, maybe it would be good for us to banter this around a little bit at a workshop and say, do we want to kind of stay with somewhat traditional, or do we want to kind of use it for, as you suggest, something that we present or is recognize somebody with, unbeknownst to them at the kind of as it's ready to publish, but it'd be tough keeping that a secret.
David?
I'm open, I like the idea, and certainly would like to follow, have more discussion.
So we've got a workshop next week on goals, so we want to, can I add this to our workshop agenda for some discussion, but at least let everybody kind of think about it a little bit, stew on it. Next, discuss vote to accept committee resignations. So we have resignation requests from Diane Holden and Rebecca Higgins, both on the budget committee. So
I would move that we do not accept their letters of resignation at this time until the town administrator has had the opportunity to speak with them personally and try to arrive at whatever misunderstanding there may have been that caused them to take such action. I think that both individuals are extremely knowledgeable and would be a definite asset to the community. And I would hate to see them withdraw over something that is easily fixable. So that's my motion.
Second. Fully
Good.
endorsed.
Any discussion? Gary?
Just so you know, Diane asked that her resignation not be rescinded, not be withdrawn. You do what you want to do, and I think that's an expression of support for her. I haven't spoken with her. I did call Rebecca and left a voicemail there, and I haven't had a phone call back. So you're right, I haven't spoken in person to either one of them. I'm happy to do that.
I think that they deserve some personal contact.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of not accepting the resignations? Okay.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, under old business, discuss vote on the social media policy. Gordon?
You should have gotten a copy of the redacted version of the social media policy. I don't know who has had the opportunity to review that, but I thought it was interesting to note that the changes made by one attorney in the office that and that I tried to incorporate in there, that the second attorney that reviewed it took out the first attorney's language. So, but I do think that ultimately the final document would serve us appropriately in the future should we have an incident involving social media. So on that basis, I would recommend, or I would make a motion that we accept this document as the final policy document.
It's a mixed metaphor, but I wonder how many attorneys it takes to spoil a soup. Anyway.
I'd second Gordon's motion. We can go through this forever, and I think if you sent it back to the law firm tomorrow and somebody else looked at it, they would change it again. So let's put a stake in the ground and say this is what we have.
That's done.
Is it going to change? Probably, right? Let's get it done.
Okay. Any other discussion? Nope. All those in favor? Okay. Would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the January 28th regular meeting.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
I abstain.
That's right, you weren't here.
401.
Pending decisions, town charter change to establish public works department.
I have to be brutally honest. The budget and what's going on tomorrow with legal and other things have taken all the oxygen out of the room. I haven't done anything with that since the last meeting. So,
Do you want to try to meet next week, Sunday, Gary, just for a half an hour, an hour?
next week's good. Yep. End of the day when you get back to town. Yep. Let's talk
I'm
afterwards.
on vacation, so.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, week's action list. We'll get the code enforcement officer and Christina together to get whatever needs to be done for Lada, so we can try to get that on the 25th for the public hearing. Transfer station, need to make sure that the pricing gets changed at the transfer station. Gary's going to touch base with both Diane and Rebecca. Discussion of agenda items, so we should have the public hearing. I don't think we have really anything right now other than that. Anything from the board?
I'm not sure it needs to be an agenda item, but David brought up out of the 2020 committee meeting the title language, right, of our town administrator that has all of his duties are that of a town manager. And I know we've changed the charter a couple of times because it was not a significant change, and I don't think structurally it changes a thing if we change the title or took the title to the vote. But I'm sure Ken would have an opinion on that. And I'm not sure that you have to then have the quantity of voters that you need. You know, we ran the revision through presidential election because we needed that quantity of voters. So I don't know if that would still apply, but if you recall, several years ago, we had a couple of warrant articles where we addressed that at town meeting and changed some of the words in the charter.
Yep. So if we could check with Ken on that, we do need to have a certain amount. We might be good to do it in November.
Right. And if we don't, maybe we can just do it at town meeting. But I think you're right. I mean, it was done that way for whatever reason. I think we all understand that it was less of a traumatic impact when people looked at it, but we said from day one and all the information meetings, everything that was published said that, hey, I'm going to call it a town administrator, but it really is a town manager.
I think it has a much more powerful appeal, the town manager, because of dealing in other areas. I may be wrong here, Gary, but dealing with other town managers, mayors, political people, the town manager is looked upon as one step above it, a administrative assistant.
Well, it's just different authority there, and I agree it's confusing, and you've already caught me a number of times mixing the two, because, shame on me for doing that, because my job is one and the title is another, so it is confusing to the public.
I just think, get it done with,
So I think, somehow we need to poke at Ken. Whether or not that has to come up as an agenda item or not, I'm not sure, but at least we ought to be able to ask the question.
Okay. Items needing signature are the minutes of the January 28th regular meeting. Reminders, tomorrow from 10 to noon, Senator King's office is holding constituent hours here at the town hall. And that reminds me, I did forget to mention, Benita Pothier from Senator King's office has been attending the 12 town group meetings. And Senator King has a meeting regarding infrastructure needs, and Benita has asked if we see any infrastructure needs within our own community, if we could send those along to her. So I'm going to be sending her a note about Route 5. Wednesday, February 12th at 5:30, the Economic Development Committee is meeting here at Town Hall. Wednesday, February 12th at 6 p.m., the Road Review Committee is meeting at the Old Town Hall. Saturday, February 15th at 10 a.m. is the Community Garden Committee Workshop, the Old Town Hall. Tuesday, February 18th at 6 p.m., Selectmen Goals Workshop and Budget Workshop. I think we're going to scratch the Budget Workshop piece of that. Wednesday, February 19th at 7 p.m. is Planning Board. Thursday, February 20th at 6 p.m. is the Public Safety Committee at the Town Hall. Saturday, February 22nd at 8:30 is a cribbage tournament at the Old Town Hall. Monday, February 24th at 6:30 p.m. is the Transfer Station Recycling Committee at the Old Town Hall. Tuesday, February 25th at 6 p.m. is the Selectmen's regular meeting, and Thursday, February 27th at 7 p.m. is the Library Board of Trustees. Also, as a reminder, this Sunday is the fishing derby on Ospey at the boat launch.
Oh, that was something. Do you know, have they followed up on all the things that were discussed here?
I haven't heard from them at all. I don't know if Mike has or not.
They haven't reached out to the fire chief recently, but the signs are, Mike Christie's gathering up signs. Those are going to be in use heavily for that day. I think pretty much where you used them before, Weber Road and others, and you folks know better where that is than I do. Trash cans, Mike Christie's gathering those. I haven't been privy to any new parking concern discussions. I don't know if they've met with John Clunan. I assume they have, since they sat right here in that meeting that night and said they were going to do that. But it's been pretty quiet in terms of new information on the fishing derby.
Same Joe. Free fishing Friday and Saturday too.
Yep, free fishing weekend, all weekend.
All weekend, yes.
Yep.
Can you bait them and hunt them with dogs?
Yeah, that's quite the way to catch a pike. Anything else? If not, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Good night.